Environmental crimes among the most profitable proceeds generated around 110 to 281 billions annually. 66%, two-thirds of this comes from forestry crimes, illegal mining, and waste trafficking. The effect of environmental crime is way beyond economic development. It destroys our planet, contributing to climate crisis, negatively impact public health, safety, and social growth. Hello, my name is Garima POV, and today we'll discuss what makes fight against environmental crime challenging and how innovation can help. Environmental crime intensify corruption, generally commingle with other organized crimes such as drug trafficking, human trafficking, including forced labor. Common red flags involve logging companies with frequent transactions to offshore companies, frequent payments from extraction sector companies to suppliers or beneficiaries unrelated to legal person activities or businesses, or unexplained wealth, cash activities involving senior officials, politically exposed person, or family members with a position of responsibility related to management and preservation of natural resources. 3 reasons why fight against environmental crime is challenging. Number 1, shell companies to hide beneficiary owners. Known cases point significant role of trade-based fraud and misuse of shell and fund companies to launder illicit funds. Offshore jurisdictions facilitates placement and or layering of funds, also hardens identification of ultimate beneficiary owners. Number 2, commingling with legit business. It is common for criminals to frequently commingle legal and illegal goods early in the supply chain to conceal their illicit sources. This makes it very difficult to distinguish between illicit and legitimate financial flows. And number 3, inadequate access to banking. Several natural resources jurisdictions face issues of access to banking, including for a broad segment of their population. These jurisdictions are often in the region that rely heavily on correspondence banking setting for the global financial market access. Without adequate access to banking and other financial services, implementation efforts to combat money laundering is a big challenge. So what's the solution? How can we have big picture understanding? Countries' institutions commonly indicate that while they are aware of occasional or individual cases of illegal mining, logging, or waste trafficking, there is a limited understanding of the risk or role in wider known illicit supply chain. I will discuss 3 primary approaches to understand big picture view of fight against environmental crime. Number 1, entity resolution for holistic view. Misuse of web of shell and front companies makes it hard to understand real beneficiary owner. Therefore, it is critical that institutions correlate internal data for customer and other involved parties with external company registry data to uncover hidden, highly organized network and actual beneficiary owners. Once parties are resolved and linking between them is understood, resolved information should be maintained and updated on a regular basis as part of enterprise well-documented data platform for further monitoring and investigation. This approach ensures institutions are able to link companies with resource rich jurisdictions to offshore shell and front companies and ultimate beneficiary owners who might be related to other high-risk individuals like them. Number 2, typology-based monitoring. Traditional rule-based detection, which only focuses on limited red flags such as large volume of transactions, geographical risk, are proven to be ineffective in detecting most environmental crimes. By leveraging typology-based monitoring, institutions can detect for seemingly unrelated yet hidden networks and various risk indicators associated with it, rather than just looking into single risk indicator. For example, a typology-based monitoring can be effective in detecting corrupt public officials facilitating complex money laundering schemes who leverage complex corporate structures with their connection to other politically exposed persons or their family members, as these PEPs often act as their local representatives or multinational mining ventures or nominee directors for the corporation. And number 3, contextual investigation. Generally, institutions have limited oversight over the activities, therefore it is key to combine contextual information, both internal and external, while investigating flagged cases. Internal data should contain resolved entity profile, earlier activities and company registry, including recently provided import-export activity. External information should include natural resource country profile, high-risk list, media scan, most critical company details such as increase in revenue. Additionally, investigators should analyze corporate structure, registration details, alleged company purpose, corporate banking profiles and the relationship between corporate networks such as common representatives, ownership structure, identical registration, addresses, and joint bank accounts. It appears that most countries are yet to factor environmental risk, as part of their national risk assessment, including those occurring abroad. Hence, international community should consider establishing and strengthening public-private sector conversation to share risk information and industry-led initiative to strengthen due diligence of supply chain and their financial flow to foster awareness about suspicious activity relates to illegal mining, forestry crimes, and illegal waste management. Continuous drive from FATF with other domestic and international organizations such as United Nations, focused regulatory guideline and enforced action is forthcoming, ultimately exposing environmental crime mandatory as part of companies' compliance program for all regulated entities around the world. Lastly, fight against environmental crime is essential to public health, safety, and biggest crisis in human history, which is climate crisis. And to conclude, we need to spread awareness to save the planet.